So we've seen a lot of capability in terms of observability that are provided by the Gloo Platform UI, but we can do so much more. As a reminder, we collect all these metrics through the OpenTelemetry collector on each cluster, and it's sent to the collector on the management cluster. We can configure this to collect even more metrics, and we can build some nice custom Grafana dashboards to help the operation of Gloo platform itself and see if everything's behaving correctly. So let's deploy Grafana so we can see the dashboard in action. We're going to add the dashboard that we've already created for this demo. So let's wait for this whole stack to be deployed. So let's see what we're deploying. So in this monitoring namespace, we're creating another Prometheus stack. We don't expect people to use the Prometheus that is being used by the Gloo UI, but you can use your own Prometheus stack that is probably already running in your environment and where you already have maybe Grafana and so on. So you can ship your metrics to that instance. So that's why I deployed this stack here. We'll create this config map for the dashboard. And then what we can show is that we're able to create or define some alerts. For example, when one agent becomes disconnected, you can see that reflected on the dashboard and so on. So let's start by looking at that dashboard right now. So if I look at the services here and go to this IP address to go to the dashboard, cool. So now we can see here that I have some nice information about the way the management server is behaving in terms of like the time it takes to translate to different Istio resources. We can see the number of agents that are connected. For example, if one gets disconnected, we're going to see that here. We can even see here some alerts that are predefined. But one of these alerts are going to be triggered if, for example, an agent gets disconnected. So let's just simulate that. So if I disconnect by scaling down one of the agents in cluster 1, then we should have this alert that's going to be shown when we look at that the platform alerts in the dashboard. We also have some different alerts for like latency, if it starts being too slow to translate, or if there's some translation errors, or those kind of different metrics are all available here. So in this example, we just disconnected one of the agents, so that should, eventually when it passes the predefined threshold, it's going to change the state from normal to pending. And then from pending to firing. So if we wait, yeah, see it's already moved to pending, but soon it'll go to firing. So this shows you how you can use these metrics that are generated by the platform to get these alerts generated and so on. So let's scale it back to 1. We can also configure the agents that are already deployed with some additional configuration. So if you want to collect extra information, so here, for example, we're going to tell the OpenTelemetry collector on cluster 1 that we want to collect some Istio-D metrics. And let's do a rolling restart of the daemon sets that correspond to the collectors that are running on the clusters. So restarting this daemon set will take into account the new configuration that we just applied. And let's also now import these other dashboards so we can see the new configuration. So let's go back to the home and then look at the dashboards. We can see this Istio control plane dashboard. And you can see all the various graphs that are available here, but it's going to take a little while for this data to start populating and getting graphed. So this usually takes a little while, but you can already start seeing some metrics start trickling in. But you can see the version of Istio, the resource usage, translation times, etc. But yeah, this dashboard is showing you how like Istio itself is behaving. But all right, so let's move on past this. Yeah. There's also this Gloo Platform metrics dashboard that are useful to see if all the agents are connected, all the metrics are flowing correctly, the translation times, the workspaces, etc. So you can like jump between the Istio control dashboard or the Gloo Platform dashboard depending on what you want to monitor.